right, what is going on, guys? UFC 308 is over, and I'm going to be making the fights to make after UFC 308. Most of these people on here are winners. I think I have 2 losers on here, that being Max Holloway and Robert Whittaker. Everyone else on here are winners. We're going to probably start with least important, I guess we'll put it that way. We'll start over here with Rinat Fakhretdinov with his robbery win, might I add that, over Carlos Leal. We are going to... Where to go? We're going to rebook the New Assault and Rozaboyev match. They were originally scheduled to fight. Rozaboyev pulled out. I can't remember why. But they need to rebook that match. Rinat Fakhretdinov, in his last 2 outings, the Dalby fight, super competitive fight with Nicholas Dalby, who's like 39 years old, got a robbery win against Carlos Leal in a fight that just happened. He's not ready for top 15. He has he's got a good win. Like Brian Battle is a good win. That's a really solid win. Kevin Lee's like meh win. But just rebook that fight and see where we go from there. Moving up, Firas Basharat. He's on a streak. He's undefeated, and he called for someone in the rankings, and I want to give it to him, and that will be against Kyler Phillips. Kyler Phillips just lost to Rob Font not that long ago. Didn't take a super amount of damage. They fought somewhat recently together. Phillips definitely needs to defend his spot in the top 15. I believe he's ranked number 12 right now. It's time for him to defend his spot like Rob Font did before him and see if Firas Basharat can take it. I think that'd be a very fun and exciting matchup. Moving up to Abusmagomedov. Faced some adversity, but did get the win over Bruno, whatever the hell his last name is. Ferreira? Something like that. Got rocked pretty bad in that second round. First round. I can't remember. It was the first or second round. Got rocked really bad. Came back. It was the second round, I'm pretty sure. Nonetheless, I think Abusmagomedov, if he could just get his cardio issue solved, I think he has a potential to easily be top 15, maybe even close to top 5. He's got very good kicks. He's got good grappling, good striking. The chin's a little sus, but I think that the reason the chin's a little sus is because of the cardio. Like, he just doesn't have the energy to get out of the way of these shots. But to be fair, he took that shot and then got the takedown right away. So I want to give him 1 to 2 more unranked fights before we get him a ranked opponent. And the fighter that I came up with was I'm going to butcher his name. Abdul Razak Al Hassan. This guy's kind of like a bag of mixed results. Kind of older fighter. I don't want to call him a veteran yet, but he is kind of older. Again, mixed results in the UFC would be a solid test for Abusmagomedov. And he'd probably be able to out-grapple him too, now that I think about it. Moving up, Mateus Rebecki with that win over Magdalbek Oralby. I'm trying to get better with these names. I'm going to get better with these names. Again, I think he's like 1 win away from a top 15 opponent. Like, the lightweight division, all these divisions, man, are getting pretty heated. We're getting all these new champions. It's really opening up a bunch of these, like, lightweight division, the bantamweight division. Featherweights open up. Like, if Volk would have just beat Ilia, they would have done Mobsar versus Volk, probably. Would have been the next one up. But a lot of these divisions are starting to get open up again. So it's going to take a little bit more work to be able to get that top 15 opponent. But I think this would be a very exciting matchup, and that would be Esteban Ribovics. He's coming in that win over Daniel whatever the hell at the Noche event. Why can't I think of his name right now? Daniel Zellhuber. Great fight. Before that, it was the win over Terrence McKinney. Brutal head kick KO in the first round. This would be a banger matchup. Rebecki comes to fight every time out. He's coming to fight. So this would be a very exciting matchup between the two. And then the winner would be able to face someone on the lower half of the top 15 in the lightweight division. Very excited for that. Moving on. Jeff Neal brutally, well, was going to brutally finish RDA, but RDA ended up kind of having a knee injury. So hopefully it's nothing too serious. I don't have RDA in this. He just needs fun fights. If he's going to keep fighting, he just needs fun fights for the rest of his UFC career. Like if they want to book him against high contenders, do RDA versus Wonderboy. That would be a great matchup in the welterweight division. Great matchup. Anyway, back to Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal, there's one name that I would love Jeff Neal to fight, and he's talking all that shit towards him. And that is Colby Covington, or Colby Duckington, because all that Colby does is duck fights. I wanted Colby to win versus Leon. I thought he'd be able to put volume and pressure on him. Just because, I don't really like his personality, but I want U.S. champions. I'm from the U.S. I support my country. I want the U.S. fighters to succeed and become champions in their divisions. But Colby needs to defend his spot. Like, he's on, like, the once-a-year fighting. He's only been fighting about once a year. He really handpicks his fights. He likes to fight people who he thinks he's going to have advantage over. Colby's getting older himself. I believe he's 36 or 37 years old. So I don't think he's ever going to be able to work back to a title shot. Jeff Neal's got pretty good anti-grappling. I think this would be a very exciting matchup, and I would probably pick Jeff Neal to win. Especially with that last time Colby fought against Leon, he looked like absolute shit. So that would be a banger matchup in the welterweight division. Moving on, Sherbulat Magomedov with the crazy double spinning back fist KO over Armen Petrosyan. I think they need to get this guy into the top 15 as quickly as possible. He has shown obvious holes in his game with the grappling. He can easily be out-grappled. And I think if Petrosyan would have just went with a grappling heavy game plan, he might have been able to win. Although in his debut, Shera did get out-grappled by Bruno Silva, but he was landing vicious elbows off the back, Tony Ferguson style. Old Tony, not new Tony. Old Tony style, not current Tony. And that won him the fight. He won the fight off his back in those moments. Boom, Michel Pereira, I don't know. You get what I'm saying. Coming off that absolute war with Anthony Hernandez where he just got the shit beat out of him. I think this would be probably the most likely of the people in the top, 15 to 10. This would be the most likely. I thought about, just throw it Jack Hermanson. I think Jack Hermanson would probably easily out-grapple him. And we don't know if Sherbulat could go 5 rounds, because that could be like a fight night main event in the Apex or something like that. So I think you could throw this on a pay-per-view in February, March. Give Michel Pereira, November off. Then maybe December, he starts to get back into training mode. And if Sherbulat could get past him, then you could start trying to keep propelling him forward in that middleweight division. But 2 amazing strikers. Not sure who would win that one. That's a really good fight, though. Really good fight. Moving up, Lerone Murphy gets it done Lerone Murphy beats Dan Ige via decision, dropping the first round and then picking up rounds 2 and 3. I want to give him a very similar opponent in Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett's a boxer wrestler. Very good one-shot knockout power. I thought Josh Emmett actually lost to Dan Ige in their fight. I thought that was borderline robbery for Josh Emmett. Same with the Calvin Kattar fight. I thought Calvin Kattar won that fight. Nevertheless, Josh Emmett's coming over a win over Bryce Mitchell where he stiffened him out cold, having him conversing in the octagon. And Lerone Murphy's kind of I kind of compare him to Leon Edwards. Very similar. I know they're both from the UK. I don't know exactly if they train at the same gym or whatnot. I have no clue. But they have very similar, they got decent grappling, not anything super elite, but they're definitely well-rounded fighters. I think this would be a very good matchup. I would slightly favor I think Emmett might have a bit more power than Dan Ige, but Emmett's also old. I believe he's 39 or 40 years old. So probably on the downslope for Josh Emmett, and this would be a way to propel Lerone Murphy up towards the top 5. That way, we could start getting these contenders for Ilia Topuria. Because to being 100% honest, I don't see many people, I think maybe Diego Lopez could beat Ilia Topuria, maybe knock him out in the first or second round. other than that, I feel like Topuria is going to knock him out. Same with the Mobstar. Like, I don't see Mobstar, like, his only path to victory is via decision, and Topuria has very good grappling. So I don't see Mobstar being able to beat Ilia Topuria as well. So that'd be a very good fight in the featherweight division. Moving up, Magomed Ankalaev. There's only one fight to make. Oh. Where'd it go? Alex Pereira. Chimaev went away. Alex Pereira, that's the only fight to make. There's nobody else in the light heavyweight division for Alex Pereira. They need to make this fight. Pereira said he wants to come back February, March. Book it. Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira, light heavyweight title. Be an amazing fight. Super excited for it. And based on Alex Pereira's last fight with Khalil Roundtree, Southpaws give him trouble. So this would be a very good, interesting fight to see if Alex Pereira can make the needed adjustments to beat Magomed Ankalaev. Moving up, Robert the Reaper Whittaker. RIP. I don't have anybody for Robert to fight. He's going to need to take, I'm guessing, a year. I'm guessing he's going to have to take a year off. If you don't know, he got his jaw broken. Essentially, the bottom middle is, I'll throw up a picture on the screen, is cracked. And he's going to, I saw like a doctor on, I'm assuming they were really a doctor. I think it was on Twitter, or it might have been Instagram, saying that he probably will be out for almost a year, like just recovering, and he might need to get his mouth or jaw wired shut. Excuse me. So Robert definitely needs to take some time off. I would say a year. I know he's older. He's probably never sniffing a title again, nor a title shot. He's going to need to go on like a 2 to 3 fight win streak over solid opponents. And that's if Dricus du Plessis goes out there and beats Khamzat Chimaev, beats Sean Strickland, beats all these people, and then Whittaker can get a couple wins, yeah, maybe you could get him back in there. But Whittaker's probably never fighting for a title again, unfortunately. I love him. I love to watch him fight. Great fighter. But yeah, he just needs to take some time off. Moving on, Khamzat Chimaev, you know who I'm picking. Dricus du Plessis. I don't want to see the rematch with Dricus and Sean Strickland. I think Strickland needs to go out there. If this fight already would have been made, and if they would have done Strickland versus Dricus 2 instead of Dricus versus Izzy, I wouldn't have a problem. Well, hell, it wouldn't even matter. But I wouldn't have had a problem with Strickland getting that immediate rematch over just one win and a slightly boring performance, even though I'm a fan of Sean Strickland. But I would rather see Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus du Plessis. I don't think there's any other fight to make in the middleweight division for the title than this fight right here. And newsflash, I'm picking Khamzat to finish Dricus in the first round. More than likely, that would be my pick. Super exciting fight. Could not wait to see that fight. Moving up, Max Holloway. Boy, I'm gonna cry. In the post-fight media scrum, he said a move up to lightweight looks pretty good, and I think the person that should welcome it, I guess he's fought at lightweight before, but I would love to see him versus Dan Hooker for the BMF title. If they could make that a pay-per-view, if the UFC needed a pay-per-view, or if they wanted to stack a pay-per-view and make this the co-main event, put up the BMF title, it would be a very fun and exciting fight. And then if, let's say, Islam gets past Arman Tsarukyan, and then he gets past the winner of Oliveira or Chandler. If Hooker, which I know he has a loss to Islam, or Max gets a win here, I'd say throw him a title shot, because I really don't see too many other people building up their way up to a title shot in the meantime. Because Holloway could come back in like March, April next year, take some time off. Hooker's ready to fight now. That's the only problem. Like, maybe you could throw it on that. I don't know exactly what date it is, and it might be too quick of a turnaround for Max. But that you could throw it on that Australia card that's coming. I think it's in February, but that might be too quick of a turnaround for Max, because he just suffered his first knockout loss ever. But that'd be a great fight. I think someone in the media even mentioned this fight. Another alternative, which I think would be really exciting, but I don't know if the UFC would ever do it again. Again, another thing I've seen media members saying is do the 4-man tournament for the BMF title. I don't care. They could just randomize the bout order, but do it all on the same night. It would be so exciting. Have Gaethje, Topuria, Holloway, and Hooker all fight 4-man tournament. all in the same night, if possible, would be the best scenario. That would be a very exciting fight to watch. Tournament to watch. Moving on, main event, Ilia Topuria beats Max Holloway, knocks him out in the third round. Very sad, very depressing. I wanted Max to win so bad. There's only one fight to make. That's Volk. Volk deserves his rematch. I know the outcome's going to be the same. I'm picking Ilia Topuria. Probably first or second round KO would be how he's going to win. Again, Max couldn't do it. Volk couldn't do it the first time. I don't think Volk's going to do it the second time. I think Volk can win that fight via decision. That's his only path to victory, in my opinion. But he has to be perfect. He cannot let Topuria touch him on the chin, or he will go out again. He cannot get touched. And I don't know if he's going to be able to be perfect for 5 rounds staying off that cage. Max couldn't do it. He couldn't do it the first time. So there's nothing to lead me to believe he's going to be able to do it again. But the other person you could sub him in with would be Diego Lopez. I think Diego Lopez has earned himself a title shot. Volk said he would love to fight in Perth. Was it Perth or Sydney? I can't remember. He wants to fight on that Australia card. So what they could do as well, if, let's say, because the UFC really wants to go to Spain with Ilia Topuria being the champion. Let's say that's going to, because I have no clue, they haven't given us a timeline on when that's going to happen. What they could do is, let's just say, for example, they're not going to be able to get to Spain till like towards the end of 2025, and Ilia is going to be sitting out a long time. What they could do in theory then is do Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez for the interim featherweight title, or if they don't want to make an interim, which it really wouldn't make sense to have an interim title, if they just wanted to do 5-round co-main event of that card, Volk and Diego Lopez, number 1 contender fight, 5 rounds, that would be an amazing fight as well. So those are the 2 options. Again, I don't want to see Ilia Topuria sit out until like the end of next year. Like, the furthest I want to see him sit out is like summer of next year. That's like the furthest I want to see him sit out. So these are my fights to make after UFC 308. What do you guys think of these fights? Do you have better matchups? If so, leave them in the comment section down below. Make sure and subscribe if you are not subscribed. Drop a like on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.